Thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna, well, girls, I think we can get to you first tonight, if that's okay. I went to my first Girl Scout meeting here about a week and a half ago, and it wasn't as terrifying as I thought it was. And these young ladies have a pretty good idea for, I believe is it your bronze project? Yeah. Troop leaders, Julie Woodruss, or whoever wants to take the floor and tell us what your plans might be. Okay.
These are some pictures of like what we do when we're boarding under
Just to explain what they were discussing is a rain barrel and garden project by the crypt at the cemetery up there at the Shady Side, and also one here in a location to be determined. I don't think you guys kind of got it figured out, but here at the Maple Shade as well. And here's what they did, what they're doing. Anything else you want to tell us about it? I know you had some plans for maybe some inspirational words and things of the like.
So how we came up with this idea is, so I went to my grandparents' cemetery once, and so there was a bunch of dead plants, and it looked all gray and depressing. So I remembered that we had our bronze award coming up, so I thought maybe if there's any cemetery that like needs a little color to it, then we could add some different types of like flowers or something. And so we decided to fix up the rain barrel, the side of that rain barrel over there. And, yeah.
We did a bunch of different stuff to to get where we are now in the project. Like, we got a gardening patch at public library. We had a fundraiser at the Auburn picnic, like some lemonade water. We visited the flower shop on
Auburn Point.
The point.
yeah. And somebody there talked to us about like what flowers would look good together, and they each picked one out to plant.
And we picked perennials because they come back every year, and we knew that would look good. We made sure to pick the plants that wouldn't bloom all at one time, so we would have the flowers spread out, so that there wouldn't be one season where they would all be there. Any questions?
I think you girls put a lot of thought into this.
I think it sounds like a great project. We sure do appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, who's gonna keep weeding them after they bloom?
Somebody.
Are you girls, is your troop gonna are you gonna keep track of them, or do I have to have the road guys do it?
Why don't you guys tell them what you did to start the edging the other day to help with that? Do you remember?
Well, to prevent weeds, we like edged the border.
Oh, okay.
So it's like this, like a little, yeah. So it's weeds. It's a lot harder for weeds to like spread from the grass to the. They can't reach like the island of
They won't work in.
mulch, or they not really weeds can't really get to it. So you don't have to weed it.
And when we were weeding it before, we made sure to rip out all the roots so they would grow back.
Guys have fun doing that project?
Yeah.
It looks like you really did a good job.
Thank you. Does your troop have to do any paperwork or anything with the council?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess I'll get back to you if we do.
All right, sure.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Guys,
Yeah, the Girl Scouts have been a tremendous help around here for years. We love having you at the Memorial Day Parade, and this is just a wonderful project. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And same goes for Auburn. From all the troop leaders, they all really appreciate Auburn is great with the troops, and we really appreciate that. But beyond this, just everything. So very supportive. Not all communities are, so we do appreciate that.
Oh,
we appreciate it
love
too.
working
Happy to
with
work.
you. Love to work with you.
Take your pictures. We'll be looking for those.
Thank you so much.
If you want, you guys can go ahead and leave now, because I know it's a school night.
Okay.
As much as exciting and thrilling as we are to watch,
They'll be in government class soon enough.
Yeah, they'll have to come. They're gonna have to come.
We have some government students
I
here.
had a feeling.
Thank you, girls.
we make them stay the whole time.
Okay, we have a set of minutes for the meeting.
I'll second.
Ron?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. And Jenny?
Yes. Do some scheduled reports at, staggered at the different meetings of the month, and first meeting of the month, we have starting up with Mr. Frank Kitco, zoning inspector.
You gentlemen should all have a copy of activity for the month of September. We did process 9 applications, which brings us to 90 for the year. We did have two new home starts this month, which brings that to 6 new homes for the year. And it's pretty well spread out, 2 accessory buildings, 2 fences, signs. Spent a lot of time with this group on this amendment. Now that it has been passed to the zoning commission, it's been initially or formally initiated, and I believe the zoning commission has scheduled their public hearing, but I'm not sure exactly when for that amendment. And I know it was sent to the Geauga County Planning Commission for their comments and so forth, so I'm sure sooner or later you guys will be getting some feedback as well, as the zoning commission probably will. And there's a lot of mixed feelings or mixed review about it, whether it's good or bad, and we'll see. This group has the right to initiate this amendment, and we'll see how it goes. That's all I have.
Okay, anyone with any questions regarding zoning? Thank Frank. Emma Gordon is our township highway supervisor.
Okay, Auburn Township Road Department report for September 2019. The line striping of our capital improvement projects was completed, and we are currently awaiting for the Geauga County Engineer's Office approval for final payment to the contractor. I am privy to the fact that we do have 2 change orders coming in. One will be for Sterling and Horseshoe, where there was some degradation along the burn, where they had to do some additional repairs. And the other would be the Snow Road project, where they were digging to put the 9x4 box culvert in, and they had to go a couple extra feet to hit stable ground, and it required additional aggregate to be put in there to support the structure. The drainage update up Snow Road has been completed for our joint project with Troy Township. The next step of the project on Auburn Township side will be to prepare our ditching infrastructure to ensure proper drainage prior to the anticipated asphalt overlay. This will take place in 2020 construction season. I've had contact with the Troy Township liaison to their board, Mr. Zwolensky, and we'll be having conversations, Mr. Everly and I, with the Geauga County Engineer's Office As far as the lead on this, we still are, and see where Troy Township is with their portion of the project. They've yet to take some trees down and ditching on their side. Asphalt repair and patching was done on Fox Road, Waterford Trail, Franks Road, Stafford Road, and Crapo Road. Cold cleaning of the asphalt surface in the Maple Ridge subdivision was started in preparation for our 2020 asphalt resurfacing program. The other subdivisions targeted are Cinnabar Trail and Fox Crossings. Other determinations will be made as per our meeting with the Geauga County engineers regarding our 5-year plan. I think we have a little room in here now as per preliminary discussion with the engineers. And their numbers have come down, not considerably, but enough where we have a buffer there where we think we may be able to fit in another road project. And this will be, once again, we'll huddle up with them towards the end of the month or in November, as we have done for the last, what is it now, 13 years?
Long time. 12 years, 13 years?
13 years, yeah, you're right. Drive pipes were replaced on Settlers Trail and Wiener Road and a cross culvert pipe on Fox Road as well. And that did entail a road closure, and I did have to call the Burton School System, and they were very appreciative that they gave them a heads up with that closure there. And typically, when we do these cross culvert pipes, I want everybody to be aware, we run from a 8 or 9 a.m. schedule and try to complete these by 2 p.m. We don't want to interfere with the bus traffic. So far, we've been successful, I'm gonna say 100% of the time, with attacking these and getting those done within that time frame. The only thing we have is the kindergarten afternoon buses that have to be redirected. We have a cross culvert pipe on Bartholomew Road that is in failure, needs repair now. This cross culvert pipe is in conjunction with our surface that we're gonna apply in Bartholomew next year, and that's between 44 and Center. The one dilemma we have is there is a 4-inch gas main that they ran through the center of our cross culvert pipe. So this has to be removed, resituated below the pipe, at least 3-foot grade. And I'm waiting for, it is an Orwell pipe, we're waiting on them to move on this. They did cover the one on Taylor May that we had concerns about where the actual lateral was exposed with the valving. That's been taken care of. As of right now, I haven't heard back from Mr. Goris as if there's a time frame. But you need to get the cattle prod out because the asphalt plants close in November. And this needs an asphalt applied over that before we leave for the winter. So I'm waiting on that one. You should see a requisition for the 24-inch HDPE, 50 feet there, that we're gonna put in that road there.
When's that? You ordered that, you're gonna order that tomorrow?
Yes, yeah, I did get approval from you
Get it
guys.
ordered, right.
We'll get that ordered, yes, sir. The road department did a great job handling the setup and cleanup for the Auburn Township Community Picnic. I'm really proud of my guys. Not that I provide much direction, but they can work without me, and it's been proven time and again. So I still hope I have value to you guys. The park fields were again mowed for that event, and the outer trail maintained and cleared of any overhanging limbs or obstructions. We wanted to make sure everyone walking around there, there's nothing to cause harm to anybody. Trail surface is intact and well drained, providing a great place to take a leisurely stroll or a rigorous workout. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, we're up there, quite a bit, a lot of usage in that park. So daily usage, there's not a day that goes by that people aren't there. There was a down tree removal on Bailey Road. Thank you, Mr. Kitko. I happened to be on vacation. You didn't call me, and thanks for going out there and opening the road up for me. I truly appreciate it. And we had that as well on Taylor May Road 1 and 2 in the month. We had 3 call-outs. One was the sheriff.
I didn't call you, I called Mike.
Yeah,
No,
Mr.
I
Kitko
called
called
him.
me.
Oh, you called me, I called Mike.
Yeah, but I
How'd
called
you
him
get involved?
He
first,
called me first.
and then I called you.
He didn't know I was on vacation.
I didn't know he was on
I
vacation.
didn't alert him to that fact, so. There was one full interment at Shadyside Cemetery and 5 footers, 4 monuments were poured, so we're caught up with the footers. As we're winding down our construction season, we'll be preparing our equipment for winter service. We did inspect all the blades today. We're good on blades. We'll get a whole nother season out of these setups that we're using now. Where in the past we would do at least a blade change or so during the winter, And now we're getting at least 2, and I think John will get 3 seasons out of his. I think it's a great thing that Mr. Ludwig found there for us, and we implement the use, and it's turning out to be really convenient for us, that we don't have to crawl around in the winter and do these blade changes. Currently, we have 1,080 tons of road salt in our dome, and we'll be ordering from the 2019-2020 ODOT contract, and that's at $64.39 per ton delivered. And Mr. May, I believe I did provide the contact
From Morton?
today, from Morton, yes. You should have an address in that I supplied Nancy today.
Yeah, because we, in the past, we haven't used Morton.
Correct, sir, so we'll have to establish our relationship with them.
Okay.
We did put in for 2,000 committed, and once again, we're back to the point now where we're still running on last year's salt. We're pretty darn close to it.
We're gonna,
Yes,
we're
sir.
going back to that program of, we're gonna stock the dome again though, in the end of winter.
Correct, right, and have that salt ready there. We don't want the 2014, 2015.
Right.
I think it's a small gamble that the price of salt doesn't tumble. But we'll get a feel for that as the winter goes on. But
Correct, and one of the dynamics of these contracts with working with the ODOT consortium is ODOT comes first. If they feel that there's an emergency or a need on their part, they pull from us. And as it's the counties as well, it's not just the townships, it's the counties as well. And when they feel that it's an all clear is given, then we're able to receive salt again. And this is one of the things that Mr. Everly and I have practiced, is keeping the dome full, so when it comes to trying to order salt, we still have salt in there in place, and we have yet to run out. So even in the worst of, I know, we've yet to run out of salt, and we haven't been on Fox 8, moaning and groaning, so. So that's just pretty much what I got for today.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I talked to Mike last week. He followed up on the loader progress. I think it's time we make a motion here to dispose of, and I know it's gonna be a very sad day, but I think we need to put Big Bird up for sale.
Steiny's Big Bird.
Steiny's Big Bird
Yes.
up for sale. The A62, it served us very, 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 very well, but it's in the production line, the new loader is. It's gonna take a couple weeks to get rid of this thing, I'm sure, but why don't we go for it? It's loader time. What do you think?
Yeah, probably get it out there now, before the season for anybody that is looking
Okay.
for one. And take a little bit more money than it would
If
normally.
anything we bring on this thing is gonna be a blessing. We've got about $10,000 tied up into what, 13 years ago?
Yeah, it was actually 13 years ago.
And it's sad that we have to replace it with a $100,000 one, but, what is it, 40 years old? And
Yeah.
I think that's about
44 years old.
44 years old, about as long as a loader. This one should go to the A62 museum. So I'm gonna make a motion that we put it up for sale we declare it no longer necessary to the township and put it up for sale at govdeals.com.
I'll second that.
That was our first, of course, prior to that, we always loaded with backhoes. So
Yeah.
this was
It was,
Big step
and
up.
we're kidding, but Jim found this loader for us, and he sure did a good job.
I still remember how excited those guys were.
Oh
when they
my
got it all
gosh.
painted, and the new decals on it.
Exactly, they got that thing hammered over that winter, hammered it back straight again, and we haven't, done that much to that loader over all these years, and we load a lot of salt with that thing.
John?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. EJ?
Yes. Okay, anyone with any road-related questions for Jim or Gordon? No, we'll move on into trustee reports, and we'll start with Mr. Everly.
the only thing I just was gonna, Emmerich and I didn't put a couple hours of discussion in on next year's, I mean, next year's road projects have already been established for a year, so I don't see us changing the program too much. If the prices are right, there is a subdivision, like another subdivision I'd like to sneak in here. We're gonna continue with our process, though, of trying to attack, get rid of chip seals, and also, keep the resurfacing of all these subdivisions. And I think right now, we're doing well. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we did not buy much asphalt this summer. We are seeing the fruits of this crack sealing that we're doing, and we're just, a little bit of cold patch. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
I actually had what was left over from last year's 8-ton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
thinking
not a
we
lot of
put
cold
8 to
patch,
10 ton of coal patch out. We're just not having the big, blowout potholes and all of that. And so, I think we can continue to aggressively resurface these subdivisions per the plan that we have. And I think we're gonna be fine. As far as from a funding standpoint, we do need the money that's coming in here.
Well, one of the things is that we have a standard, it's 90%. The reason it's 90% is because if you take the 13 miles of chip away, we have 41 miles asphalt road. We have to, in order to, let's say, keep up or maintain, or keep up, is surface 4 miles a year. So we took a hit in 14 and 15 with those really bad winters with multiple freeze and thaw cycles, a lot of heaving in the pipes, a lot of degradation to the surface and bases as well. And we have slowly crawled back, and we just handed Nancy our data, and she's gonna crunch our numbers and do our pie charts again, and I think we're back really close to 90% acceptable surface. And for a township of our size, with the road inventory that we have and the funding we have, to be at 90% is really an achievement. It's something that we need to keep up with. We did drop down to 80%?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we were down to 82%.
Yeah.
I thought 82 was our low number.
Yeah, but we've slowly crawled back, so, and that's, the one thing, that's our target, 90% acceptable service. With the current funding that we have, we'll be able to keep up with where the monies are today in the asphalt product, so.
Since we're still talking roads and whatnot, I was just gonna jump in here with one thing. We had that surprise failure on Valley Road that was cross pipes. Now that it's so low, would it make any sense to take a look at those other two?
Yeah, I can go down there with the engineers. They did look at them when it was lowered last year as well. What we did there was based upon their determination, and we did do the pipe. There's one over by the turn there by Silverdale's.
Yeah.
That's one that I know the ends are bad now. I know that it's hard to get in to the Ladue side, but the ballast side per se, the on the other side, they can take a good look there. When we did the chip seal last year, 2 years ago, they did inspect them and they did anticipate a few more years of life out of there. So that's one thing where PJ, we would call in the contractor such as Mr. Kodash and utilize his service, because those are bigger pipes than we can handle. We go safely up, because that would be concrete, we go safely up to 24 inches with the equipment that we have. So,
Was it 4 total in that stretch?
yeah.
They've been moving,
Right.
We've been talking about this for years.
Right, and it's very,
And they're big projects.
it's very peculiar that the city of Akron was able to establish a 100-foot right-of-way just as wide as the pipes are.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
So-
that goes back before any argument. but,
Right, so we
that
sort
was
of got,
interesting how that
we got
happened
stuck
there.
maintaining that,
Well, we shortened
We
those
did.
last two.
I went down to 90. We went 90.
I don't know, I think, it's something we're gonna have to look at. I think, I'm hoping we can get another couple of years, aren't you?
That's what
Well, we've all
I'm anticipating, right, yeah. I'll get Al down there, Mr. Prescott.
Just while
He's
it's so
doing it,
low, I
yeah.
just
No,
wanna.
it's good time when the residents so low.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, that's the issue with the pipe on Bartholomew.
Right.
Is that those ponds down there are drained down too, so we're gonna take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, even if they can take a look at them, give them a time estimate of when to repair them, we can get them in the budget for subsequent years.
Right.
It's not, to be honest with
These
you,
are-
we spent about $15,000
It was 15.
to do the
Right.
first two. And, the county was a little bit shocked at how low that price was, because I think they had given us estimates close to 50.
I think it was 50.
Up in that neighborhood, so I think, I think we could handle it. I'm not, they're deep enough that I'm not anticipating just a boom failure like type thing like that.
Right, right. Now, those pipes there, that is a day closure, at least.
That
the
is,
entire day.
yeah, we
That's
have to close
one
it.
you can't escape from. That,
Right. Well, you're
Um,
putting that big thing across there,
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we'll keep that.
And we did swap a 24 north of you.
Right.
That was done as well. That's about 7 feet down, so it's done.
In one of the projects we're gonna look at to add on for next year, there's a pretty good sized culvert that we're gonna have to
Yeah,
replace.
42 inch.
42 inch one.
CMP, that's right.
It's down there in the ground quite a ways too, but, it's been 22 years on the surface.
Preliminary numbers with the contractor performing that rolled into the project is 30,000. I think we can bust it out for less, a third of that, I believe.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and hire our own guy and,
Yeah. So what I'll do, PG, is I'll get a hold of their drainage guy, Al, and look at those, and once again ask them, and I do have the write-up that I received when we did the chip seal on there, so.
we've got 10 inches of road on top of those too,
I don't,
on Valley.
oh, as far as the amount of chip, yeah.
So that's about what I got. I think we're getting, we're pretty much, I mean, if it snowed tomorrow, we'd be disappointed. But, we are pretty much, we're ready to handle anything that comes up. I think one of the things that I think we need to report back to the other guys is that this pickup truck has been better than an aspirin tablet. We've been able to, that and that hot box that we picked up for next to nothing. We took that hot box out, and that has been allowed us to run, 6-7 hours almost
Right.
with asphalt. Where it is, the more you keep it hot, the more movable and workable it is. And, but we can pull that with the pickup truck. And, so that truck is really,
Right, and we actually pulled the mini with that as well.
yeah, we pulled
We'll have
the
to
mini with
try that.
that. And what we're gonna do this year, we're gonna go ahead for snow removal at this building. We're gonna handle that ourselves with the pickup truck. And we're gonna plow the cemeteries as well. So, we won't be using Mr. Rubik this year. Emmerich called him and talked to him. He's done a phenomenal job for us, but we think we can handle it. Try to just save us a couple $1,000. And, I think we had a pretty solid year this year. We got an awful lot of projects done. PJ, you know how wet it was.
It was a slow start this year, yes it was.
Slow start, and I think anybody you wanna go over and take a look at, Wood Acre, I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolute, and we've got all new drainage, we've got all new asphalt. And, you know, that place was decimated a couple years ago with all those trees that came down. And, you can't even tell what happened now.
Right, we took that asphalt as long as we can. Typically, they want us to do the subdivisions at 15, we try to stretch them a little longer than, well, they say 15 but pave at 13.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, we're not capable of that, and.
We don't have that luxury, right?
Not yet, not yet. And so typically 18, but we stretched that one for 22 years. And they actually, BJ, you remember this as well, Gilsonite was the last thing that was done on that road. Back in,
Remember when we
besides,
did that, PJ?
besides our patching and everything that we did chasing it, you know?
Yeah,
But,
that's right, yeah, right after it was done.
Yeah, Gilsonite in 899.
Maybe that's why it lasted all those years.
Maybe. Could be.
No, I don't
So,
think so.
and then Brookfield as well, the one we're talking
Well,
about,
Brookfield too. is-
will be 22
Yeah,
next year. We're trying to
22
be
years
able
will
to-
be in its 23rd year when we take care of it, right? So, I think a lot of that you've gotta attribute to crack sealing and the ditching, I really do. And, so kudos to the, I mean, they've really done a lot of ditching, a little here, keep this water going all the
Well,
time.
and they had a good base, I mean,
Right.
we saw the opposite end of that up here at Ascot.
Exactly.
And everything,
Right,
so
spot on,
it's either
yeah.
built right or it's not.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna yield my time to Mr. Troy.
Okay. Just had contacted by one person, and I'll let you know that the trash can in the park by the entrance to the walk is filled.
No, it's not.
Well, it was what you call it.
Right, it's empty now. We do it every Monday.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bother calling you, because
Yeah.
they emailed me on Saturday night.
Right.
Yeah, nobody's working.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one where the doggy walkers, and we have the bags there accessible so they can pick up the waste and stuff like that. But actually, that one's every 2 weeks, the other ones are every Monday that we take. So that was emptied actually today.
That's all I had, people calling me, so.
There you go.
Okay, I had actually kind of a busy meeting schedule, goes back 3 weeks, because it was right after our last meeting, but went to back-to-back ones with Watershed Partners, Sugar River Watershed Partners, and of course, we're all familiar, I think, with what they do for us, with the zoning and riparian, technical stuff, not to mention the assistance they've given us on grant applications and everything else over the years. They are doing a dues increase this year, it's 2%. And we are going to go from 1094 to 1116 is what our
I think we're getting a good value.
adjustments will be.
I really do. What if we had to go out and hire private, you know, do a contract? The contract would cost us $5,000.
For one project.
Right.
And they've done a good job for us, and really good bang for the buck.
That's my feeling.
And the extra 2%, I'm sure we can find that somewhere.
Yeah, and they actually did a breakdown at the end of that meeting as well as to what maybe we would be looking at, you know, not individually, but Parks and Rec, development donations, you know, things like what is your township, village, municipality, whatever, interested in. And some interesting stuff came up out of that. It was a real good discussion, and there might be some in the future, some things we can work with them on as well. And I'll just dip down into the bottom of the agenda a little bit while we're on that topic, that NatureWorks grant that they helped us fill out that application for. We should be hearing about that, I would think, by the next meeting, since we'll be in the late October by then, so that's why we put it back on the agenda. Okay, on the other end of it, I went to a meeting with Water Resources, requested townships and zoning inspectors to come and discuss with NOPEC. Basically, it was the 208 plan and the adjustment. Frank, you're familiar with, you know, this came up back in the spring. And not quite sure what Well, what they alluded to was that request that they gave us back in the spring to sign off on an amended plan was nothing more than a conversation starter, which certainly didn't appear that way at the time, but it did get some conversation going, I'll say that. As you get, and there was, I'd say it was sparsely attended. There wasn't, I'm thinking, without doing a survey, maybe 4 or 5 townships there of the 16. We did something kind of quite different than every other township when we set up our 208 plant. We drew everything in a commercial industrial area for potential sewer, even though there were no sewers there. Most everybody else drew a line around what was already sewered and said there will be no more. And there have been a lot of changes in those townships. We've only amended our map twice that I can remember.
Twice, yeah, well, one,
Yeah, and in fact, our last amendment is already recorded there. It was 2015 or 16, it was the piece between Lorien and the golf course there.
right,
Or Lorien and Auburn Lakes. So we don't amend ours very often. A lot of these other townships, yeah, they're adding a lot here, a lot there, and there's no real formal method of forwarding that information to NOPEC, and now NOPEC wants to know all this stuff. So that part of it made some sense, even though it really didn't apply very much to us. I still can't quite, Frank, and you went over that map with a fine-tooth comb and found, all kinds of problems with that, and I still don't know where that goes.
Yeah, well, I don't either, because, like I said, the engineer that I met with, subsequently met with, promised to get us an updated map after I, went over all the ones that I knew on East Washington in particular that were hooked to the sewer. And I said, I'm talking about in the B district mostly, but I said, I know some down here are also hooked to the sewer. And he said, well, we'll get you a map. Well, I still don't have it. And we did not have it and could not, in one of our discussions with the Redwood group about their potential amendment, that very topic came up as to, those properties are all in the 208, but they were looking for a current copy of the 208 and couldn't find it, and finally Bridie was able to go and get one, somehow, through the planning commission, that's how she did it. But, so we had something to work with, and we were all sitting around talking about future development.
Yeah, I did come out of that meeting thinking that, there probably needs to be some mechanism for these townships to change theirs, maybe a couple times a year.
Right.
We don't, we did
Right.
twice, we've done it twice in 21 years.
Right.
So, but where that fine adjustment goes to, like that map with all those changes, I have no idea. They really didn't even refer to that.
The thing that I couldn't, and I still don't, they've still not given me an answer, is there was 4 or 5 particular parcels within the 208 originally that NOPEC took out. And I said, what is the justification
No ACA.
if we're taking this piece out of potential sewer development in the future? It's in there now, why are you taking it out? Several of them happen to be on one road in our industrial, okay, one of them turns out is Paul Phillips's parcel. Well, self-storage facilities probably don't need sewer hookups, but it was quite, and the guy couldn't answer the question. I said, well, why are we taking this potential, it's in the 208 originally, why are we excluding it now, and I still don't have an answer for
Well,
that.
and I don't know when that's gonna come back around.
Right.
'Cause that was our whole point, is we don't wanna draw something up that we gotta adjust twice, 2-3 times a year.
Right.
Other townships said, stops where it stops and never again. Well, that's not the way things work.
Right.
You know, people come and have requests, and some places you just, I think you legally have to, you
Well,
know.
there's some statute in the state law too
Yes,
about it.
yes, so, you know, we don't have any need to make any adjustment to our 208 plan until somebody makes a pretty damn good case that we have to, that's what I think anyway, so. So that was, I don't know where that goes, but, they did request this, and they got a few townships there, and we had somewhat of a discussion, so there's that. I know the rest of it's on the agenda, so we'll turn it over to Fred.
Okay, you've got your regular reports in front of you, including your fund summary report, revenue summary report, and appropriation summary report, and payment listing warrants 5427 through 5453, which are in front of you for signatures, and that totals $34,959.92. Of note on there is Medical Mutual of Ohio for $24,924.77. I also have a resolution that we need to pass. This is from, or per the County Budget Commission, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. So I'll go ahead and read this for the record. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, in accordance with the provisions of law, has previously adopted a tax budget for the next succeeding fiscal year, commencing on January 1st, 2020, and whereas the Budget Commission of Geauga County, Ohio, has certified its action thereon to this board, together with an estimate by the county auditor of the rate of each tax necessary to be levied by this board, and what part thereof is without and what part within the 10 mil tax limitation. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission in its certification be and the same are hereby accepted, and be it further resolved that there be and is hereby levied on the tax duplicate of said township the rate of each tax necessary to be levied within and without the 10 mil limitation as follows. So we're looking at, in the general fund, within the 10 mil limitation, 1.4 mils, and the road and bridge levy fund, within the 10 mil limitation, 1.6 mils, outside the 10 mil limitation, 5 mils. The fire levy fund, we're looking at 3.5 mils limitation, outside the 10 mil limitation, for a total of 11.5 mils. And the amounts, these are the levies, current levies. 2006 road and bridge levy, last authorized 2016. The amount coming in is $257,654. 2008 road and bridge, last authorized 2017, amount is $257,654. 2005 road and bridge, last authorized in 2015, amount is $242,160. 2014 road and bridge, last authorized 2018, amount is $515,308. 2010 fire levy fund, authorized as a continuing in 2010, 3.5 mils, bringing in $901,788. Continuing on with the legal language, and be it further resolved by the fiscal, that the fiscal officer of this board be and is hereby directed to certify a copy of this resolution to the county auditor of said county. There you have it.
You need a motion to adopt that, correct?
Need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
All right, the resolution is adopted. That's all I have.
Okay, Adam Hall, we collected some quotes on considering some electrical upgrades down there. And we're gonna go over those tomorrow morning. And we'll probably have some opinions and I think the ability to move on or around or whatever we're gonna do with that project after tomorrow. Sometime after. Let's see. We have to establish a proxy for the NOPEC General Assembly meeting, which is in November. It's on the 12th. Bill Coons, mayor of South Russell. Someone in South Russell always seems to draw the short straw on this. I believe it was Jim Flays before that, and Bill Young before that. As his hat in the ring. Guess I'd look for a motion to establish Mr. Coons as their proxy vote.
I'd make that motion, PJ.
I will second.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ?
Yes. It's that time of year, believe it or not, terms expiring on zoning appeals, zoning commission, and KCE. We've established those, well, KCE is established as staggered terms there, and it's by statute on the other two. So we will, gonna advertise for 2 weeks, looking for letters of interest. Of course, notification of the terms that are expiring, are gonna go back out and ask those people to consider continuing on. So, 2 weeks, all right?
Yep.
Yep. And this is one of his favorite things we do every year. What should we have Halloween this year?
I like it in July myself, because that way it's not as cold. You have better weather and it's light. I know that's not conventional thinking, but I've just taken some phone calls from mothers that's when they felt that we should move
Well,
it.
Christmas too, I think that's always
We're
over.
gonna move Christmas, I don't know, I can't handle Christmas, but
All right, October 31st.
I'm
How
gonna
about
vote for
6 to
October
8?
31st,
6 to 8.
Gene McCune's birthday, former trustee.
I'll make that motion, all right, that's the Auburn Township trick or treat.
I don't necessarily agree, but I'll second.
And the
John.
penalty for doing that outside of those hours is exactly nothing. Okay.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ?
Yes. Okay, public comment. Go ahead.
Okay, warrant number 5450 to Share Corporation, $382.14.
Yes, that was for a salt neutralizer coating to put on the trucks, to neutralize road salt.
Okay, so it's like an undercoating kind of thing?
Alls I know is it's a salt neutralizer coating. So-
Right, it's a new vendor that stopped in that we're working with that had some products we're interested in. And it provides a film on your truck, so basically making it impregnable to salt, so.
So you're gonna make a judgment on the validity of that treatment over
Yes.
what period of time?
Yes, if it saves us any type of oxidation or, you know, on the trucks, it'll be a good product. So.
Yeah, so what is the time period then that?
I don't have the information on it as far as the longevity, how long it does
Yeah.
last. We do have some pals of it that we're gonna find.
Okay, but this was the first time that you've used
Yes,
this
yes,
procedure?
and this was a brand new vendor as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, anyone else? We have some government class kids here tonight, do we? We'd be happy to sign off on your requirement there.
I think we can check to see if they're soldiers.
Okay, so we'll look for a motion here then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there anything on the shelf there? Yeah.
On the window, there's.
Yeah, the last meeting of the school year.
Yeah.
Lined
They
up.
were lined up, we couldn't get them all in the building. That's a procrastinator's
So you
club.
beat the rush. You beat the rush.
Do you want to say? Yeah.
I don't want you selling this on eBay.
Okay, I think we had a motion, did we vote, Fred?
No, we didn't have, who made the motion?
I think Mike did.
I
You
did.
seconded it?
I will second it.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, motion to adjourn, John,
Yes, sir.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
8:20 on the dot.
This is what you're talking about.
Did I talk today about showers?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, somehow I didn't get the.
There's a new one.
Yeah, but that's not here.
Well, there's several new ones going in on
Yeah.
Troy's side.
Yeah, I got
New
another.
well on our side.
Yeah, I got another.
We guess Nancy filled in a complaint today about the
Well, I
monitor.
couldn't-
Oh, she did? Okay, I didn't hear. Typically what happened with that is that Mr. Gross would go down and do this for a while.
At the